Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be diving into this new type of offers they're doing for gear, and I've got an interesting one to go over in terms of 6-star artifact pack because it has been massively reduced, and my stance has always kind of been that gear offers are not worth it, but that may be changing if they're going to be coming through as a full set of 6-star at this price while including energy and silver. So we're going to dive into some numbers and take a look at how worth it this is, or if it is worth it or not. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so the first thing we need to do is I'm going to pull up a spreadsheet from when I did a bunch of Dragon testing. This should be relevant. It's not that old. It's from a couple months ago. I doubt it's wildly changed, but I do want to do this again coming up soon here just to get as accurate numbers as possible. But it should be a pretty good estimate. And sorry, I'm going to be kind of looking off screen weird here. I'm looking at my other monitor that has this spreadsheet open. So a couple things we need to understand is in terms of acquiring 6-star pieces, we can see here that it is about 30% to occur. So you can see the 28.93% on the, I can mouse over it here, up here on the top right, is our 5-star versus 6-star acquisition percentage. Now, this is in Dragon 20, remember, so if you're doing Dragon 19 even, it's going to be wildly different because you're bringing 4-star gear into the equation. This was a Dragon 20 test, so do keep that in mind when you're watching and listening to me talk about this, okay? And then also, look at the rarity distribution, about 65% rare and about 30% epic, and about, you know, the rest legendary, anywhere between 5 and 8%. The percentage of legendary is going to be wildly different depending on RNG, somewhere between 5 and 10%, but probably about 7.5%. So that's a few things we need to understand, and also the sets you can see on the bottom left here. So I've got the green sets that we're kind of looking for in terms of accuracy, speed, and lifesteal, and then these sets in red are the ones that are a little bit less valuable to us. So we can see here about 30% of the time we're getting a good set from the Dragon, or a set that we would like to wear, or is higher value, and then of that, you know, speed is going to be about 1/3. So loosely, we're about 10% on a Dragon run to acquire a speed artifact, and then it's about about a 30% chance that of those 10 we will get a 6-star artifact, which means about every 10 speed artifacts we find, about 3 of them will be a 6-star. So that's a few things to keep in mind as we dive into kind of my thought process in terms of laying out if this offer is worth it or not. So let's go ahead and put that away, and then I will pull up some notes I was taking here. Okay, so remember, we're about 10% to get a speed artifact from the Dragon because of what I kind of mentioned before in terms of breaking down the sets. Again, these are going to be some estimates. The stuff is not decimal perfect. We're just trying to lay this out and articulate it simply. Now, how did I get this $13 starting point? Okay, so when we see the offer for $15, the 350 energy and 450,000 silver is worth about $2 or $3. So I conservatively started this at 13, which is, you know, we're already getting some energy and silver. So the offer isn't actually costing us $15 for just the speed, because we are getting a couple dollars worth of energy and silver to go along with it. So the actual cost of the speed artifacts itself in the offer is about $13, and that's where I got that number to kind of start with. Now, $13 is about 110 Dragon 20 runs. How did I get that? 130 energy per refill times 13 refills. Typically in the game, if you're trying to whale out and do a bunch of energy refills, they're gonna cost you about $1 a piece. So of the $13, we turn that into 13 refills times 130 energy per, if you have a maxed out level 60 and above account. That gives us 1,690 energy total, and I didn't show that step here, but the 1690 divided by 16 energy per run is what gives me this 105.6. But sometimes, because energy recovers and we can get it a little bit cheaper if we're diligent about our spending, I rounded that up to about 110 Dragon runs for $13 if we're whaling out in terms of doing a bunch of dungeon farming for speed sets. So that's where I get this 110 runs out of the $13. Now, what does that mean? Out of that 110 runs, we're going to get about 10 speed pieces. Remember, we're about 10% per run to get a speed piece, so that gives us the 10 speed pieces. And remember, the 30% chance, the distribution of 5-star and 6-star was about 70 and 30, so that means we're going to get about 3 6-star speed pieces out of $13 worth of energy. But we also have to remember that there's silver involved here. So we're getting 11.2k silver per Dragon 20 run just in gold or silver that we farm. And then we're also selling artifacts, which is going to give us about 55k per run times 110 runs gives us 6.6 million silver. But remember, we're not selling every single artifact. We are keeping some. So I rounded that down. You can see the 6.5 turning into about 5 million after keeping artifacts, and 5 million different people are going to value silver wildly different, but it's about $7 in terms of like, would I buy 5 million silver for $7? I would think about it. 5 million silver doesn't get you super far, but I would think about it at $7. It wouldn't be an amazing offer, but that's what we're going to put it at, for about a typical value in terms of my calculation, my offer sheet that calculates the value of offers. That's kind of the number I came up with when I plugged it in there. So then at the bottom, how did I get the true cost of $6 after including the silver value? That is the $13. Remember, I already explained how I got that. It's the $15 starting point of the offer minus the energy and silver that we got. Now we get about $7 in silver if we're doing Dragon 20, so we subtract that, and we get a $6 true cost in acquiring the 3 6-star artifacts out of the 110 runs, which gives us a $2 acquisition cost per 6-star speed artifact. Now, when we bake that into the offer, we're getting 6 pieces. We take that times 2, and what is that? That's $12, which is about equal to the $13 worth of Dragon runs. But remember, I'm not including all of the other gear we get. So when we do the Dragon 20, we're getting accuracy, stalwart, lifesteal. We're getting other pieces. This is only showing the speed. So in terms of just 6-star speed artifact acquisition, it's about equal. But if you can do Dragon 20, it's still better to go ahead and purchase energy and do the runs, because not only can you do some things like do a group of 4 with 1 food and get a little bit of XP out of it, but you can also get other gear instead of just the speed pieces. But that's kind of the breakdown. If you're just looking for 6-star speed pieces, it is about equal. But the nice thing is you get them right away. You don't got to wait. You don't got to auto click overnight. So you're paying a little bit of a premium to whale out and get them right away. So it's borderline worth it, because obviously speed is, I can put this away and we can just kind of, talk about this and wrap it up. But yeah, speed artifacts are probably the most valuable set in the game. I'm not counting these sets that drop in platinum, because that's so out of the realm of realism for 99.99% of you that it's not even worth kind of including them in the game. That's a whole separate video. I wish that whole thing would be structured differently, but anyway, I digress. That's not for this topic. But yeah, that's why 6-star speed artifacts are probably the most valuable set in the game, because they can be used in any situation on any champion. It's a great filler set, and it's actually better than Divine Speed in my opinion, because you have a higher opportunity to acquire these pieces. It's more realistic, because Divine Speed is so rare to get good pieces that your odds of getting a set bonus and 2 of them to put on a champion that work together is so much more difficult, because you're going to have, tens and hundreds of speed pieces. You're going to have like very few good Divine Speed pieces. So that makes the speed set even more valuable than the Divine Speed set, because it's actually realistic to acquire and build champions to take advantage of the set bonus that has a lot more malleability and pliableness to make it work on multiple champions. I hope that makes sense. My mind is kind of scrambling with all these numbers, and I've been thinking about this for hours, kind of preparing for this video. So at this point, my mind is a little bit scrambled. I'm trying to articulate it, probably not doing a very good job of it. But basically, the bottom line is, like I said a little bit ago, if you are just worried about getting speed pieces, it's worth it. It's probably worth it. It's about a wash, but I still recommend going the route of buying energy and doing the runs yourself if you can do Dragon 20. If you can't do Dragon 20, then this offer is worth much more to you, and then it's probably worth it. Especially, remember, we've got 3v3 arena coming up. We don't know how worth it or how well it's going to be implemented yet. We're not really seeing the ins and outs of the arena shop that's coming through, the bazaar they're calling it. We don't know a whole lot of details about how worth it the 3v3 arena is going to be, but remember, you're going to need a lot more speed pieces because speed is king in the arena. It is meta. You got to go before your opponent if you're trying to speed farm medals and speed farm the arena and do well in the arena. You've got to have good speed pieces, especially for your leaders and your boosters like your Arbiter, your Haikatoon, your Lysandra, your champions like that, your Seeker, Gorgorab, Apothecary. You need speed pieces. They are very valuable, and because of that, this offer is really good if you can't do Dragon 20. If you can do Dragon 20, this offer is borderline. So what I would do is make this offer like $10, because then it would really be something I would be recommending scooping up, and it would be right in line with the cost of the energy required and what you're sacrificing in terms of an opportunity cost that you would have got from doing the runs yourself. So I think the fair value would be about $10 at 15. Given the fact that it's the #1 set in the game. So if this were a different set, if this were like Crit Rate or something, we wouldn't even be having a discussion. This is a discussion because it's the best set in the game. Usually gear offers are not worth it, in my opinion. They're too much of a gamble that's only kind of reserved for whales, because, you know, you're paying $15 to get what, you know, one piece out of this set that's going to be usable, one, two, maybe, because you got to get it to roll good substats, then you got to get it to roll well. When you roll it to 16, it's got to roll the right substats that to hit on those 4, 8, and 12 ticks. So very tough, and out of this spending, you know, it's just too much of a gamble for most people out there. But at least the price is coming back down into line at 25. It is just ridiculous in my opinion. But now it's actually a discussion because the price came down $10 to 15, and it's the best set in the game. That makes it an interesting discussion. I think a good route they could go is maybe make this like $14 and make the other sets like 8 or 9, just because of how valuable the speed set it is. But all of that stuff is for a different discussion, where maybe I can rank the sets and give them a different acquisition value per piece and help people kind of calculate what this gear is worth. But I definitely like the direction they're going with these offers, and I'm glad they went ahead and did this, and it's at least worth a discussion now. So I wanted to get a video out there kind of diving into it, and I always want to know what you guys think. Are you scooping this up? Do you think it's worth it to buy when you're preparing kind of for the 3v3 arena and kind of building those clan boss teams? And, you know, how do you feel about it? I think it's about a wash based on what so I don't think it's amazing, but I think it's getting close, and we're heading in the right direction with these gear offers for sure. So yeah, let me know what you think, and as always, have a good rest of your day. Thanks for watching. Peace.